What is going on YouTube? Thank you right here. I'm your host Enrico, and I gotta say to all my wonderful, beautiful faces on the world, just miss you, love you, love you. Now welcome back guys. Today we have a deck profile of Great Natures. Of course this deck profile name is the Amazing BigBelly. Now thanks to the new Zoo Awakening booster, Great Natures have so much better support. Great Natures can actually keep up with some of the meta. Great Natures now have kind of like a non-GB rush. So I'm gonna break down my deck as much as I can. Hopefully you guys like it. Hope you guys have any comments. Please comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. So the starter we have Telescope Rabbit. I know in the past video I said that Pencil Koala was the best starter for Great Natures, but now that we're in the faster meta, as for instance the leaders, we have now Chaos. We have to outpace them as much as possible, or we have to at least keep up with them. So the Telescope Rabbit, it helps us with the early rush game, especially the grade 1 rush. Helps us search out for the grade 3 with the Mikasaburo combo. And it beats up my columns even more better, more faster, the way I want it to be. But I highly recommend to have Telescope Rabbit as your starter. As for triggers, we have 12 crit. Pretty standard. So the reason why I play these crits are because this one goes in Soul Charge plus 50 Vanguard, and in this build we actually Soul Blast a lot, so you want to Soul Charge as much as possible if you can. And also we have the new critical trigger, basically is the Margot critical for Great Natures. Put in the Soul, give +3 to another Vanguard. Of course, it's a Soul Charge, which is beneficial because in this deck we actually Soul Blast a lot. And you get +3 to the Vanguard, which can help you out reach your successful K column, helps reach out the 25K column or 20K column they have to reach. So this card actually helps out a lot, especially with any other successful units. Chameleon, a lot of people are debating that we shouldn't play this card anymore. I still say we should play this card, even though yes, it deck thins your deck of critical triggers, just for the fact that it can replace itself so easily. It's non-GB, you can use it with the Mikasaburo combo, and just in case if you don't want to discard any other Vanguards or any cards in your hand, you actually want to keep them in your hand, you can always just play this and it will replace itself really easily with just Cannon Blast. Next we got 4 heal triggers, pretty standard. Of course we have the new heal triggers from the new Zoo Awakening set. This heal trigger is pretty busted just for the fact that it counter charges or soul charges, but in all honesty, for this build, I actually don't counter charge with this heal trigger at all. I actually soul charge more than counter charging. Like I said before, this deck does soul blast a lot. Next for grade 1s we have Mikasaburo. This card is basically the MVP of every Great Nature deck. It allows you to search out your grade 3s. It allows you to play a low amount of grade 3s. It allows you to combo out with any retiring effect and +4 effect. Early game, mid game, and technically late game, but then again this card you won't really see that much late game, just for the fact that he isn't that great late game. Reason why is his effect only activates in the main phase, and his effect is a given effect, meaning that it gives another Vanguard the red text. So you gotta be careful, because his effect you can lose timing on certain cards. Probably not in this build, but in other builds, depending on what other cards you play, you can miss timing with him, so be careful of that. Next we have the new PG. This PG is so broken, just for the fact that I can guard with it, counter charge with it, and draw a card. But it has a heavy cost. The cost of it is basically you have to have a BigBelly Vanguard and Soul Blast 1. The Soul Blast 1 is the pretty big cost of it, because like I said, in this deck we do Soul Blast a lot, so this PG probably won't go off every single time. But it's perfectly fine, as long as the PG goes off once or twice in the game, you should be beneficial, in all honesty. So this card is a huge lifesaver. Next we got the 4 Stratasys, pretty basic just for the fact that in this build I only play 5 grade 3s, so it's highly necessary to play 4 Strike Fathers. Next we have 3 Duckbills. Duckbills are basically the grade 1 rush. It's amazing early game, mid game, not so much in late game. Reason why, again, it isn't that great during late game, just for the fact that it's like Mikasaburo. It only activates during the main phase, and you have to give the effect, the drawing effect, to another Vanguard. So like I said, it's great early game and mid game, but I'm pretty sure it won't do that well late game. But as you guys notice in Japan, a lot of BigBelly builds, they play 4 Duckbills. So right now at the moment I'm testing out 3, and I think it's perfectly fine. So my new tech is this grade 1 new Panda Bear. This Panda Bear is a 20k success unit if it's successful. When it boosts a unit, end phase, if it retires that turn, you can draw a card, put it on the bottom of the deck. Broken. Main fact is, this card is amazing early game, mid game, and late game. And this card is non-GB. That's the main focus they want on this card. Unfortunately, I want to bump it up to 2, but I don't have the space. I highly recommend not to play 4 of it. There's a couple builds in Japan that actually play 4 copies of this, but it's not that great for early game. Because God forbid you actually draw 3 of them in your early hand, and you don't have no retiring effects besides your Telescope Rabbit. No matter what, you need a 9k rigor for this to boost to reach that 20k column. So again, highly recommend not to play more than 2 of this. But if you want to, go ahead and you'll see for yourself. Next, we have, of course, 4 Cran Tigers. Of course, Cran Tigers is the reason why Great Nature is great in the first place. Well, actually, that's a lie. Either way, Cran Tiger puts so much pressure, it's a draw ability, and it's just, it puts a 4th attack in. It's just so good. There's no reason why you shouldn't run Cran Tigers in Great Nature. Next, Grade 2, it's a new card from Zoo Awakening. We have Ocelot. Basically, it's a Binoculars Tiger, but it's only once per turn. The beneficial fact is it's amazing early game, late game, and mid game. Early game, it can attack any unit and give +4 to any of your Vanguards. Other skills, the GB effect, of course. This other skill is Counter +1. If you have a Big Belly Vanguard, give +4 to another Vanguard, end phase, draw a card, then die. So his ability is stackable, just like Big Belly and Cran Tiger. Unfortunately, like I said, it's a counterblast, but in this deck, we actually don't counterblast that much anyways. The big combo that I found out with this card is, like, say for instance, you can have these 2 in the front row, and you have 2 more. Let's just say this is a Vanguard. Call these in the back row. Counterblast, give +4, and then you can replace them for other cards for like a booster. Let's say you want to play 2 grade 1s, you can play these. That's how broken that is. This card is very flexible, just for the fact that you can call them to the back row, activate their second abilities, give +4 to these 2, kill them off for grade 1 boosters. Broken. I honestly think, like I said, this new grade 2 is very flexible. You can abuse it so much. It's amazing early game, late game, and mid game, but mainly for early game. That's just me though. Next, we have 2 Lesser Riders. Lesser Rider is amazingly broken just for the fact that it can kill itself. So it's a 20k success unit. It gives resist, gives +2k to every success unit. And his other ability is Soul Blast 1. This unit becomes successful, and when he's successful, his success effect goes off. But unfortunately, he does have to kill himself. So if you think about it, this is like a 3rd blanket. God forbid you're playing as Kagero, and God forbid you don't actually draw into your Ocelot, and you need to kill a unit to make a support combo. You can activate his ability right then and there. End phase, he's gonna kill himself, and you search off at grade 3. So this is really good early game, mid game, and late game. Great card, non-GB. Broken. Next, we have 2 Field Glass Sea Otter. Sea Otter is broken just for the fact that you can abuse his non-GB skill, and of course his GB skill makes him more broken. His non-GB skill basically is I can play him early game, give him +4, boost him, he's a 20k guard, end phase, bounce it back to my hand. Broken early game, just for the fact that if I don't want him to die, stuff like that. Then mid game, late game, when he's placed on Vanguard, give +4 to another Vanguard, end phase, kill that unit. He's broken just for the fact that I can, again, he's just like Ocelot. I can abuse the +4 to the Vanguard so easily. Let's say he's my Vanguard, and he's my front row. Call, +4, end phase, these are successful, bounce these back to my hand. So I can abuse them every single turn no matter what. No counterblast, all I gotta do is just call them to the field. Next we have grade 3s, which is pretty obvious. We have 4 of the new amazing BigBelly. This card is simply amazing just for the fact that it has an on-ride skill, which is the same as the Stribrick skill. Non-GB, keep that in mind. When you ride it or stride with it, you can call a unit from your hand, give that unit +4, end phase, draw a card, then dies. So that effect is also stackable, and like I said, it's non-GB, and also you don't have to counterblast for that effect. His secondary effect is even more broken. His secondary effect is literally just a Cran Tiger. If he's successful, and end phase, it dies. It gets +4, end phase dies, but you don't draw. So that's the only downside of the card. But then again, like I said, it's just like a Cran Tiger. It replaces Tuskmaster. You don't have to play it anymore. So again, broken Vanguard and broken rearguard. Amazing early game, mid game, and late game. Last grade 3, we play the Rhino. This Rhino basically is the Silent Tom for Great Natures. This card is beautiful. Now the reason why I say this card is beautiful is just for the fact that this card you can combo out with Cran Tiger, combo it out with Magna Garmer, and then it's basically an unguardable rearguard. Especially if you have a Cran Tiger restanding it again for a secondary attack. I won so many games with this card. I'm thinking about boosting it up to 2, but unfortunately I don't know what exactly to take out for it, so... On to G-Zone. We have G-Guards. We have this broken thing. Now the reason why I call it the broken thing, just the fact that this card can be a refresher. It can refresh my hand to a better hand, or it can guard with huge numbers against my opponent's 70k attack, and I can just drop my whole hand and then draw a new hand. This card is too good to be true. You need to play in Great Natures. Then we play the Ominous Dragon. This card we only play just for the fact that God forbid we play against the Mega Colony matchup. Mega Colony matchup stuns my whole board, and it also allows me to not call cards on my turn. This card basically lets me call cards on their turn, so it's kind of like a loop. It's kind of like the back door to go against Mega Colony. So I highly recommend to play one of these just in case you play against the new Mega Colony cards. And also for the fact that if you play against VMAX, this card allows you to call cards from your hand to the field, gives them resist, and if they're attacked, they're still going to survive that turn. So this card is great against Mega Colony and VMAX. Last G-Guards, we play 2 Armadillos. Pretty standard. 3 open rearguards, 36k guard. Not much to say about it. Next stride, we have the new GR from Zoo. This GR is beautiful. Now the reason why I say that is because this card you can actually first turn stride into it, and it's really good first turn stride. Like, it puts a lot of pressure on my opponent. I can draw cards, and it makes my rearguard columns actually good columns. Or God forbid I actually don't have any rearguards to play, and I can literally just I can call this the Big Belly effect, activate effect, another +4. So he did 12k attacking, critical trigger, attack, then attack my Vanguard, soul charge it. It's such a good combo, and it can make other columns an actual attacking column. It can make those magic numbers pretty easily. But also for the fact you can use him mid game and late game. He's amazing late game because his effect basically is Soul Blast 1, flip up a face up card in G Zone, and then it gives +4 to each of your front row rear guards for each face up card in your G Zone. The highest I ever made him in my other rear guards was 24k, and that was just simply the biggest numbers that my opponent couldn't guard, because whenever I'd use him as a final turn stride, I would always have that Cran Tiger, which puts in more work. Like I said, this card puts in a lot of work, just the fact that it puts it's an on pressure card. I can draw cards off of it, and it makes amazing columns. Highly recommend to play 3 of it. If you don't have that much money, play 2. But like I said, you definitely want to play more of this card. Too good of a card to not play in Great Natures. Then we have 2 Alphonks. Alphonks basically is, it helps you against Kagero, helps you against Thunderstrike. It helps you out against any retiring G-Guards that can hurt your board, that can stop you from winning that turn. I actually use this card a lot against Kagero, and it's been helping out so much. Just for the fact that, yes, it's a counterblast, but it gives my units, it helps my units not die until the end of the turn. Also for the fact that it gives him a huge power boost. For each rearguard that he actually targets, he gets +4 for each of them. So let's just say for instance 5 rearguards, so that's +20k just for himself. Broken. Next we have the 2 Stride Legions. The Stride that can actually Legion. Now this card is simply amazing just for the fact that it can send 4 cards, any 4 cards, back to the bottom of my deck. End phase, draw a card, then dies. And also the +4 is beneficial, but in all honesty, when you stride into him, you really don't care about the extra +4. All you care about is the draw ability, and you put back any 4 cards at the bottom of the deck. His requirement is kind of difficult. His requirement basically is we have to have a rearguard that's at 25k. In this build, it's actually not that hard to reach anymore. Beforehand, Big Belly, it would be kind of difficult at times to reach 25k on the rearguard, but now it's more reachable just for the fact that we have critical triggers that can go in the soul, give a unit +4. Big Belly, I don't have to worry about not having a counterblast for his effect. So like I said, Now, if you're playing the new support with BigBelly, you can actually reach the 25k more easier. Next stride we have is 2 Manic Armor. The only reason why we actually play him is just the fact that he combos out so good with the Rhino. Basically, it's a final turn stride, it gives +4 to 2 rear guards, and it gives them that your opponent can't guard with grade 1s or higher. That combined with no grade 0s, Rhino is just simply an unguardable rear guard. Again, stupid combo, especially if you have a Clan Tiger, final turn stride. Next we have Zoa for Great Natures. Of course, you don't have to have a Zoa in your deck for Great Natures, just for the fact that Zoa isn't the best ZR, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Comment down below if you guys think Zoa is a good ZR or a bad ZR. Again, you don't have to have Zoa in your stride zone for this deck or for this build, but it does win games at times. Like, this card actually won me a couple games where I knew my opponent didn't have a PG and they couldn't do anything about it. Zoa does put in work, only if your opponent doesn't have a PG. So if you're playing him, be super careful. Make sure your opponent doesn't have a PG in their hand. Next we have the Broken Owl. This card is basically the anti-card against Link Joker, especially Messiah. This card nukes my whole board, it soul charges, and I draw a lot of cards and counter charge. So this card does put in a lot of work. Unfortunately, I would be super careful just for the fact that this card you can deck out so easily. In this build, you actually draw a lot of cards. So, like I said, be super careful whenever you play Owl. Count your deck, make sure you don't deck out, because this card soul charges and you draw a card for each card that you kill. So sometimes if I play him, I would have like 2 rear guards or 3 rear guards max. So I'm drawing 3 cards and soul charging 3 cards. Again, he's a great card, but it's gotta be super careful. Last but not least, we have our GB8. Now, if you guys notice, I don't have Seabreeze. Again, Seabreeze is one of the best strides in the meta and always, but in this build, I'm rushing. I don't really have time to like worry about being on GB1, just for the fact that in this build, we actually don't have a lot of GB cards. In this build, it doesn't really matter if you have a Seabreeze or not, but then again, I could be wrong, could be right. Please comment down below, let me know what you guys think, if I should play Seabreeze or not. But I actually do go into him quite a lot, just for the fact that in this build, I do flip up a lot of cards in my G zone. So again, you can play the GB8, you don't have to play it, but it's just my personal opinion. You actually can play the GB8 now in this build. It's more easier to go into and simply the best. So that's my Great Nature deck profile for you guys. Of course, the name of it is The Amazing BigBelly. Now, if you guys want to hit that like button, hit that like button. If you guys have any comments, please comment down below. Let me know what you guys personally think. And wait in a few days. In a few days, I'm actually going to have a deck profile of the new Chadnor. Now, at the end of that video, I'm going to compare what's better, the new BigBelly or the new Chadnor. In all honesty, I think it's pretty close, but I'm going to explain my reason why on that video, so please stay tuned. But I'm really, really happy with this deck. I'm happy that BigBelly isn't that GB reliant anymore. BigBelly is more of a rush now, especially early game. I love playing early game decks, and I think, in all honesty, with the new BigBelly, we can actually keep up with the meta. So, like I said, test it out. Great Natures, it's a fun deck. It's the best deck I ever played, because I always have fun playing it. So that's my Great Nature deck profile for you guys. So if you can, please comment down below, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and remember guys, may the critical trigger forever be in your favor. Deuces!